No, I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got.
And now, Mike's thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, I do not want to know is going on here. I don't know what's going on here. But it is time to call out some ridiculous nonsense in the world of this NFL that we call drama. So sit tight, because today's topic is Derek Carr, his shoulder injury, and the absolute circus that has been made out of it. Guys, I am fed up, I'm fired up, and I'm pissed off, and we're about to dive into this mess. First off, let me tell you something. The drama around Derek Carr's shoulder injury has been completely blown out of proportion. And for what? A bunch of reporters and social media trolls feeding into the same old gossip. This whole thing started back on April 11th, just a few days before the Saints' voluntary offseason program kicked off, and suddenly every media outlet from ESPN to Twitter to your uncle's dog is speculating about Derek Carr's injury, and it's like the end of the world. It's been unbelievable. But know what, guys? Derek Carr himself finally speaks up. And what does he say? He says he's been in consistent communication with the team, and there's nothing to panic about. He's got an MRI report to prove it. So where's the problem, huh? Where is the problem? Why is the media and every keyboard warrior out there making this into some type of disaster movie? Guys, this has got to be better. We got to be better, folks. Derek Carr's been dealing with personal stuff this offseason, and his wife were going to make the trip to New Orleans, but guess what? She had a miscarriage. And now suddenly we're all supposed to act like we know everything in this man's life from health, and just because a report came out about his shoulder? Guys, is that fair? Is that fair? This is how we're supposed to treat somebody just because they're a pro athlete? Guys, no. Let's all just point fingers and speculate, right? We don't care about context. We don't care about family issues, and we do not care about the man's personal life. It's all about drama, and when it gets clicks, I mean, who needs to respect someone's privacy when all you can do is just make everything sound worse than an actual headline? Guys, here's the kicker, though. The Saints are dealing with this mess right now. They drafted Tyler Stroud. Everybody's talking. Is there a quarterback competition? Is there a quarterback competition for a star starting spot? Who's the QB1? Saints general manager Mike Loomis doesn't even entertain the question about the competition with the healthy Derek Carr. He sticks to the plan. Derek Carr is the starter, but guess what? That doesn't stop the rumors. This doesn't stop the frenzy. So, guys, here's one thing. Derek Carr has been clear. He's dealing with the shoulder injury. He's in communication with the team, and he's dealing with the personal life, but the media, they won't drop it. So here's what I have to say about everyone who's feeding into this chaos. Cut the man some slack. Let's try the little thing called respect. Maybe focus on the real story. A quarterback who has a chance to get healthy and lead his new team instead of making a mountain out of a molehill. All right, guys. So what do you guys think about this? The media circus, Derek Carr's injury, the way people treat athletes like they're public properly. Guys, drop the comments down below and let me know. If you're just as fed up with this nonsense as I am, we'll be back in a minute. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw, steady
sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype. This man, our sport talk. Yeah, yeah. From the quarterback to the lineman, everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Or check out the blog section. The Detroit grade for the draft grade for each team in the NFC North. Also, guys, it is Tuesday, so we got Overreaction Tuesday. We're going to touch on a little bit of the tush push. Donald Trump, the president, DT, and Saquon Barkley talking to each other. We're going to talk about the Chiefs' 5-year plan, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Kenny Pickett. And then we got to end the show with a little bit of an effect and a little bit of crap. No Aaron Rodgers today, but we do got some factor crap. And yes, I know Aaron Rodgers is full of crap. But before we get to it, guys, this is a live interactive show. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button down below. And most importantly, guys, share this with a couple of friends. So sharing is caring with a couple of friends. But like I said, guys, it's a live interactive show. Be like my man James Frank says, hey-oh! What's up, James? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hope you had a good old day, brother. And Old Man River says everybody's just stirring up the pot for ratings. Old Man River, guys, it's a pigskin clinic. Be like Old Man River. Hit the membership tab down below or the subscribe button, whatever platform you're listening to us on. $4.99 a month, guys. You get some free merch. So this is our new long sleeve pigskin punnet only shirt. It comes out, was it June? Right? No, June is the hoodies. So yeah, but yeah, stuff is coming out. Become a member for $4.99 a month. And James Frank says Carr has always been a dog. I didn't know all of that. Prayers up for Garrett Carr and his family. Listen, man, I didn't know that either, and until I actually dove into that article because so as you guys know, I have a big Excel sheet that I have a program or I have a script that anything that's NFL news related comes to that spreadsheet, and I read what's going on, and I see the headlines, and one of the quotes is like Derek Carr has MRI to prove his shoulders. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about, right? So I posted that, it was on last Friday, and he comes out and says it again today. I'm like, what is going on? So I click there and I read that article. I'm like, oh shit, brother, damn. But yeah, I couldn't imagine being in a professional athlete's shoes right now, guys. Like going through what he's going through and his wife and kids and it is just tough, right? It is just tough. It is, but it is what it is. Life goes on. Got my man Alpha Rob in the chat today. What's up, Alpha Rob? What's going on, brother? What's going on, Old Man River?
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
And Jose Valdez says Beneconics. I don't know what that means. Bendy Conicals. I don't know what that means, brother. My bad. I don't know what that means. Don't shoot the messenger, but I don't know what that means. But guys, let's get into today's show. Let's start off right at the top, and let's start off today's show with breaking down the 2025 NFL Draft from the perspective of the Chicago Bears. That's right, the Bears. Put some respect on their name as we go through each and every pick round by round, hanging out some draft games and talking about how these guys will fit in the Chicago Bears current roster and long-term fans. So if you're a Chicago Bears fan or just a draft junkie, this one is for you. Let's get into it, guys. Round number 1, pick number 10, Carlson Loveland, tight end from Michigan. When I heard this pick, I was thinking just like everybody else. With the 10th overall pick, the Bears with a little bit of unconventional grabbing a tight end, Carlson Loveland out of Michigan. Now, don't get me wrong. Loveland is talented. He has great hands. He's a smooth route runner and can stretch the seams. He's 6'5", and he gives Caleb Williams another big body target. But this pick raised a lot of eyebrows, especially my eyebrows, especially when you have guys on the board like Tyler Warren still on the board, who, by the way, went just a few picks later. So the biggest question was Wes Loveland the best value at number 10, or did the Bears over-prioritize a traditional luxury? Either way, the potential is still there. So with that day 1 grade, with the round 1 grade, I do give them an A-, because while it's still a little bit of surprise that he did so early, I respect the commitment and surrounding your rookie with quarterback weapons. And guys, let's just be honest, the Bears have nailed this offseason so far. Then moving down into round number 2 with pick number 39, Luther Burton III, wide receiver from Missouri. Now, this is a pick that could define the entire class. You heard it right. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. This is the pick that could define the entire class. At number 39, the Bears did land Luther Burton III. He's an explosive wide receiver from the University of Michigan. Now, let's be clear. I think Burton could be a star in Chicago. He is electric after the catch. He creates separation easily and brings serious swagger to a swaggerless team. Pair him up with DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, that nightmares for opposing defenses. You give Caleb Williams this kind of arsenal, and the Bears' offense is suddenly looking dangerous. It was an absolute slam dunk at round 2 for the Chicago Bears. Oh, by the way, they get more round 2 picks, right? They drafted the offensive tackle from Boston College, Ozzy Trapalolo. Guys, I'm terrible with names. Let's just be honest. But next up, the offensive tackle, Ozzy, at number 56. Ozzy, I should say. He was a solid pick as well. I had to go back and watch him tape just to make sure that I was remembering correctly, but it may have been a slight of a reach depending on your board, but I think Ozzy has a high floor ceiling. He's not the flashiest, but he's technically sound and should compete for a starting job quickly in that weak Chicago Bears line. Let's just be honest. I anticipate him moving into guard actually when it's all said and done. But considering the Bears need to shore up the protection for Caleb Williams, this pick does make a lot of sense. And oh, by the way, they got yet another second-round pick. This time, they go defensive side. Defensive tackle Sherman Turner from Texas A&M. And just 6 picks later, the Bears go back in the trenches grabbing Turner. He is a disruptive defensive tackle from Texas A&M. Again, might have been a slight board jump, but Turner brings twitch, strength, and scheme versatility. He's a guy that can generate interior pressure what the Bears solely need. Because let's just be honest, the Bears defense lacked pass rush last season. All in day 2 was rock solid. But I only give them a B+. They had a couple reaches, sure, but all those guys do fill legitimate leads. But since they reached a little bit, I got to knock their grade down a little bit. Moving on to day 3. At 132, the Bears select Ruben II, linebacker at American. Quick and stick of it, he hits like a freight train. Guys, go back and watch this kid's tape. I spend about 3 hours a day watching each of these kids' highlights tapes just to refresh my memory. And this guy is instinctive and he hits hard. He gets to the hole and he is at the hole angry and pissed off. But in my opinion, it was a bit early. I had him more of a 5th or 6th round range type of player, but he's a special teams weapon from day 1, and he could grow into a rotational linebacker quickly for the Chicago Bears. And then at 196, they take Zaya Frazier, cornerback out of UTSA, University of Texas, San Antonio. He is a raw tossback. He has a lot of talent. He has a lot of skill, but he needs to be molded, right? He needs to be coached. This kid has got ball skills, right? He had 6 interceptions just last season alone. Like I said, he still needs some development, especially technique and footwork, but there's an upside here. Maybe a practice squad / 1-year player, you never know, but I do see him eventually making the 53-man roster toward the end of the season. And then in the 6th round, we go even deeper at 195. They go interior with Luke Newman out of Michigan State. Another versatile offensive lineman that can play guard. It could swing at a tackle in a pinch, which I don't anticipate in that happen, but so an offensive guard. Like I said, not another flashy pick, but this is a depth guy who can step in if injuries hit you. You guys need like this in the draft. Guys, the Chicago Bears have nailed this offseason. They have drafted needs, they have filled their holes, and they have built a team around Caleb Williams. Guys, the Chicago Bears can win right now. With that being said, I give them an overall grade of an A- on day 1. It was a bit risky at 10, but Loveland has a star potential. Day 2 was a B+. Burden is a crown jewel. All the lines got love, right? And then day number 3 is a C. They have a few reaches, but some special team values and late round upside. But my final thoughts, this is a weapon-heavy draft for the Chicago Bears. That's exactly what you want when you're building around young quarterback like Caleb Williams. They got guys who can help now and other guys who can bloom in time. So guys, in the comments below, let me know what you think. Was Loveland a reach? Is Burden a number one receiver material? Probably not, but let's just slow it down. Drop your comments in the chat below, guys. Let's have a discussion about it. So, Old Man River says, respect for the 4th place team. Old Man River, I understand you are a Detroit Lions fan. I understand that you love your Lions to the T. I understand that you think your Lions are the cream of the crop. But let's just be honest. Do not sleep on the Chicago Bears, period. I'm telling you guys, do not sleep on the Chicago Bears. I understand, Buck. I understand. Let me talk in the third person. Buck, you do not hype the Bears up in March. You do not hype the Bears up in April, May, June, July, August, September, October, or hell, maybe even on November. You do not start talking about the Bears till December. But guys, I cannot help myself. They nailed this year's draft. Day 1 and day 2, they drafted their needs, right? Day 3 was a little bit of a reach, but the guys, the Chicago Bears are doing things the right way. The Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings, and Green Bay Packers, you all better look out. They are coming for you. And Old Man River gives them a B-. B-. You know, by laws of average, A- plus B+ plus C, it's about a B-. So, Old Man River, I think we're kind of in the same range here, but I still think they had a pretty damn good offseason. James Frank says, Bears probably about to get my guy Nick Chubb. Listen, James, I believe I was on TikTok. Was it TikTok or Instagram? One of those real things, right? I saw Nick Chubb blowing up a workout. This man is ready to go. Put this man in a hostile environment and he will murk everybody out there. This man is ready to kill. If the Chicago Bears get Nick Chubb, watch out, baby. Watch out. Alpha Rob said the Bears could win, but they probably won't. Alpha Rob's like, hey, you can go buy a lottery ticket. You can think about winning that $1 billion, but you're probably not going to win. Much like the Chicago Bears. Right. James says, I thought they should have taken the guy that the Colts took. I still give them a B+. You mean like with the first round pick? I do agree with that, James. I do agree with that. Daniel Barry Sports Highlight says, yo, what's up, Daniel Barry? What's going on, brother? What's going on? Alpha Rob says, I deep sleep on the Chicago Bears, Buck. Listen, Alpha Rob, you are not wrong, man. Like, I have been hard on the Chicago Bears for a very, very long time. Matter of fact, every time Combsy would hype them up, last season, Combsy was hyping them up, and I was like, now they suck. Now they suck. What's up, buddy? What? You guys are silly. But yeah, sleep on the Bears YouTube, Buck.
Hello.
Angel says hi, buddy. All right. See ya. Good night. Love you. Real McCoy says the Bears graded on a curve. What didn't you like, Real McCoy? Because when I look at day 1, yeah, see, like I said, it was a little bit of reach to the tight end out of Michigan, but they've been addressing needs. They needed a tight end, and they needed those depth pieces. I think they did it right. I think they did it right. James Frank says he hit the ceiling with his head. Yeah, he did. Guys, if you guys have not seen Nick Chubb's recent workout tape, he's doing hurdles, or he's jumping over these plyo boxes. Plyo boxes are probably, 48, maybe 60 inches tall. He's jumping over it, and he has to like duck because he's jumped so high. That man's a freaking beast. That man's a beast. But guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think of the Chicago Bears overall draft grade? Let's move on to the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions 2025 NFL Draft Hall. 7 picks, some smart moves, a little bit of a couple gambles, but hey, what do we expect from Dan Campbell? And maybe even some future starters in the mix. Let's go through each pick, hand out some grades, and break down how this draft class fits into Dan Campbell's gritty, kneecap-biting version of the team. Let's get into it. Guys, let's kick off things with the first round. Williams, defensive tackle from The Ohio State University, guys. This is a classic Detroit Lions move as of late. The man's gritty, he is tough, and right in the trenches, right where Dan Campbell wants to be mean. Guys, Williams is a force inside. He is powerful at the point of attack. He can disrupt the backfield, and he should line up next to a clean McNeil to create serious problems for the opposing offensive lines. Now, the Lions could have gone edge rusher here, maybe even a wide receiver, but they stuck to the board, and they landed a tone setter up front. It's not a flashy, but is it a nice foundational building pick? With that pick, I do give them a B+ for the day one grade. It's a smart pick with upside, even if it wasn't a headline grabber. I'm being a little harsh because it is the Detroit Lions, but I do love this defensive tackle from the Ohio State. Now, going into round 2, the Lions pick up Tank Redledge, a blistering guard out of Georgia. Guys, there's going to be a common theme here lately. Georgia, Ohio State. Georgia, Ohio State. Georgia, Ohio State. There's a lot of Georgia and Ohio States going here in the NFC North. Now, this one is interesting, though. Redledge brings that SEC nastiness, a true mauler in the run game, and he fits what the Lions love to do on the offensive line. Physical, tough, and ready to punch you in the mouth for 4 quarters. Still, with other positions of needs on the board, particularly wide receiver and edge rusher, this feels like a solid, not spectacle pick. But in the long run, he could absolutely become a starter on that offensive line. Let's just be honest. Now, round number 3, pick number 70. Isaac Tesla, wide receiver from Arkansas. They finally addressed that wide receiver need. And here's the thing that where it got real spicy. Not only did they grab a wide receiver, the Detroit Lions traded up to snag Isaac, right? The wide receiver from Arkansas, giving up 2 day 2 picks in 2026 to make it happen. Now, Isaac isn't exactly a household name. He's a big target. He has reliable hands. Go back and watch his highlight tape. He catches a lot of things. He has a good body control, more possessive guy than a burner. But giving up 2 26 day 2s, that's a bold move for a guy that may not even be a wide receiver right away. Still, the Lions clearly see something in him. With Jameson Williams still trying to find consistency, they're betting on Isaac to contribute quickly. With that being said, a day 2 grade for the Detroit Lions, I give them a C. It was a high cost to get here, questionable value, but we'll see how the gamble plays off. And lately, the gambles have been on Dan Campbell's side. Then we go into day 3. I really like what the Detroit Lions did here. Miles Frazier, offensive guard from LSU, adds depth on that offensive line. Frazier isn't going to light up the tape. He's a solid base. He can play both guard spots and maybe even be a starter by 2026. Not next season, but the year after that. Exactly what you want in a 5th round pick. A reliable, coachable, a development upside. Smart move by the front office there. Now, next up, you have Ahmed Asinen. Like I said, guys, I'm terrible with names. I apologize, but he is out of Boise State. Now, this one is my favorite Lions pick. I went back and watched the tape. I watched probably damn near 40 minutes of this guy's tape. I fell in love with this guy quickly. He is fiery. He has an explosive quick step. He plays with a motor that just doesn't quit. And may not have elite size. He's definitely rough around the edges, but if you're looking for someone who screams Dan Campbell energy off the edge, this is that dude. He's a value pick for sure, potential rotation guy, maybe even more. Of course, then they ended up with a couple of 7th round picks as well, picking safety Dan Jackson out of Georgia and Dominic Lovick, wide receiver out of Georgia. I didn't watch much tape on those guys, so I'm going to reserve those picks, but judging by the 2 Georgia guys, they're probably dogs. Let's just be honest. But draft grades overall, day 1, I got to give them a B+. Williams fits the culture and the scheme. Day 2, they get a C. Some questionable on value, especially with the Isaac trade. And then day 3, I got to give them an A. Great picks, strong depth with high character guys. My final thoughts on the Detroit Lions draft, guys. This is not a flashy draft for the Detroit Lions. It was pure Lions football as of late. Tough, physical, and full of guys who love to hit. Now, they took some risks. They made some trades and added some serious depth across both lines, whether or not Isaac, the receiver from Arkansas, lives up to the price tag may define how we view this class in a couple seasons. But overall, a solid draft keeps the Detroit Lions moving in the right direction. So let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments below. Was Tyleek the right pick in round 1? Did they give up too much for Isaac in round 2? Drop your draft grades in the comments, and do not forget, guys, to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Lions content on season long. Now, let's get into those comments. James says, what's up, little dude? I don't know why my little dude's up, man. It's 9:30 at night, brother. You got school tomorrow. Get your ass to bed, boy. Real McCoy says, Dan Campbell and Jerry Jones are on the same conference job. Who's better at their job? Dan Campbell is better at his job. Jerry Jones right now is just a figurehead. Dan Campbell is doing the work, right? Doing the trenches. Old Man River gives him an A-. He says, one pride, Lions all the way, Lions to the Super Bowl, baby. Give him an A-. Listen, man, I think a solid B. A solid B is where they're at. Duckery Bieber says, the way you look makes sense now. Washington clears your favorite team, Speedy. What are you even talking about? The way you look makes sense now. Washington clears your favorite team, Speedy. Okay. He must be mad because I was talking shit on the Commanders last season. Whatever, dog. Whatever. Let's move it on. Moving on here over to the Green Bay Packers. Diving headfirst into the 2025 NFL Draft for your Green Bay Packers. That's right, the draft is in the book, guys, and the Green Bay Packers finally did something we've been screaming about for years. They took a wide receiver in the first round. History has been made, folks. But let's get into those picks and grade the analysts. This is what you means for Jordan Love in the future of the squad. Buckle up, guys, because this draft was kind of a head-scratcher. Let's just be honest. Let's just be questionably honest here. But round 1, pick number 23, the Green Bay Packers finally broke the streak. For the first time in 2 decades, they grabbed a wide receiver in the first round, and Matthew Golden out of Texans. Now, Matthew Golden is a home run hitter. He's got the burst, the polish, and the body control to stretch the field to make plays after the catch. You put him next to Christian Watson and Jalen Reed. Guys, Jordan Love just got a real weapon to elevate his passing game. This wasn't just a right pick. This was a necessary one, and the Packers finally pulled the trigger. Day 1 grade for the Green Bay Packers, it's an A, baby. It is an A. Love gets his guy, and the offense finally got a little bit of swagger. Now, day 2, on with the 54th pick, the Green Bay Packers grab Anthony Belton, a massive offensive line out of North Carolina State. Guys, now listen. This is a gamble pick. This is a pure prospect pick. Belton got the size, no doubt about it, and the length you love in a pass protector, but he has had some issue handling speed rushers off of the edge, which in the NFC North, with all the freaky edge talent, that is something to watch for. Now, still, Green Bay believes in its development program, and they can clean up his technique. This could be a long-term starter for the Green Bay Packers. But the 54 pick, Anthony Belton, a little bit of a question, a little bit of a reach there, right? And then round number 3, they go back to receiver, and they draft Williams out of TCU. They added Williams from TCU. So this guy is versatile. He's got a big frame, solid hands, and he can line up inside and or outside. He's not as explosive as Matthew Golden, but he's more physical, more of a possession offense. It's a smart move. You can double up on weapons for Love, and you give Matt LaFleur a little bit more flexibility with formations. Now, it's not a flashy pick, but hey, it's very Green Bay-ish, right? Day 2 grade, I got to give him a B. It was solid. It was a little risky with Belton, but doubling down on wide receivers showed the commitment to Jordan Love's growth. Not perfect, but definitely trending up. Now, day 3, Green Bay starts cooking with Barron Sorrell, edge rusher out of Texas. He's a powerful guy, doesn't win with speed, but if you're looking for someone to set the edge and hold the run game, occasionally collapse a project, this is Barron. Fits the rotation perfectly, especially with that aging defensive line. It's still coming into his own. Now, another edge rusher in the 5th round, Colin Oliver from Oklahoma State. Back-to-back edge rusher. Now, this guy is interesting. He's more of a hybrid, plays some linebacker, plays on the edge, but he brings a lot of juice. Great motor, relentless effort, and the kind of player that you hate to block. I could see him making an immediate impact on special teams and third downs. Pin the earbacks and go get some man. Later in the 6th round, They still on the defensive side. Defensive tackle out of Georgia, Warren Brinson. Not the biggest name loaded on the Dogs defensive line, but do not sleep on him. I had to go back and watch tape and really look. He's explosive off of the snap, though, guys. His first step is killer. He plays with great leverage. Not a 3-down type of guy yet, but in a rotational role, yes, he could be a sneaky, very good, valuable pick. Now, going on to round 7, they do double dip to close it out. Michael Robertson, corner out of Tulane, not a ball hawk, but he does have good instincts and is physical, could compete for a backup job, and potentially thriving on special teams, depending on what Jair Alexander does do moving forward. John Williams, the guard out of Cincinnati. He was announced as a guard, but started as a tackle in Cincinnati. He is tenacious, strong hands, and plays through the whistle. This guy is nasty in the best way. Late round guys with real development potentials here with the Green Bay Packers. Now, final thoughts of the draft grades. Day 1, they get an A. They finally took a wide receiver early, and they got a good one. I think Matthew Golden is going to be the most polished wide receiver in this year's class. Day 2, they got a B. They got some upside, they got some risks, but clearly they have a direction. They know what weather they were going in day 2. Carrying on into day 3, give them a B. Plus, they got tough, gritty defenders, depth in the trenches, and potential gems late. Now, my final thoughts on the Green Bay Packers. This was a very Packerish draft. They got explosive wide receiver in Golden to unlock Jordan Love's potential. They added offensive line help. They beefed up the front 7 guys who play with fire, and they found depth late. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. But was it smart? Yes. Was it tough? Yes. Was it strategic? Yes. And even if half the guys hit, Green Bay is going to be a problem next season. Super Bowl bound, baby. Now, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Did the Packers finally get it right in round 1? Are you excited about Matthew Golden? How do you feel about Belton and the other edge rusher? Smack that like button, guys. Hit the subscribe button for more draft coverage to stay locked in, because we are breaking down the NFC draft grades all week long. Now, let me jump into the comments. Old Man River says B+. Old Man River says give the Packers a B+. Oh, my bad. There it is. B+. What don't you like about the Green Bay Packers draft? That is what I got to ask. What don't you like about the Green Bay Packers draft? I do not like how they reached on a couple guys, but they still filled in needs instead of wants. That's a big key. Filling needs, not wants. Now, Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings. Let's break down this 2025 draft class, giving us some grades. We're going to take a look at the picks, the strategy, the trades, and see how the purple and gold set themselves up for the season ahead. Did they do enough to stay competitive in the changing NFC North? Guys, let's get into it. Round number 1, pick number 24, the Vikings kicked things off by addressing their interior offensive line with Dominant Jackson, a strong polished guard out of Ohio State. Once again, the Ohio State. Catch the theme here. Now, this was a need, no question about it. Keeping the pocket clean and helping the running game get going are their top priorities. But here's the thing. There were some talented defensive backs still on board, and the secondary needs help badly, a.k.a. Harrison Smith is old. Still, Jackson's the kind of pick that who can start week 1 and anchor the line for years to come. Stay safe, smart, and reliable pick. However, I only give them a B on day 1. Solid, but it's safe to say when they could have gone an impact player in the secondary, because that's what they need. Now, they did not have a day 2 pick, so going on to round 3, I should say. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Taya Felton in the mid-3rd round. Pick 102, wide receiver out of Maryland. I'll be honest. I did not have Felton mocked this high in most scenarios. I had to go back and look at the tape and see who they drafted, but he's got burners. This kid's fast. Meaning, like, he makes fast people not look so fast. He brings a vertical threat that can help free up Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Was it a need? Not really. Could they have gone defensive here? Absolutely. But Felton pops. It makes life a nightmare for opposing secondaries. With that pick, I do give them a B, and the stay 2. Offense stays loaded, but yet again, we're still waiting on the defense. Secondary defense. Now let's talk Tyron Ingram Dawkins, a tall, athletic defensive lineman out of Georgia. You love the pedigree, you love the physical traits, and he's a great fit at that 5 tech behind vets like Jonathan Allen and Jonathan Hargrave. But he won't be asked to do too much right away. But if he develops, he could be a peak heart of the defensive lineman in a year or two. Once again, not addressing the secondary. But then at pick number 6, they finally somewhat address the secondary by drafting Kobe King, linebacker. Thanks to some smart trading, including a flipping the pick from Sam Howell deal working the board, Minnesota ended up with back-to-back picks in the 6th round. Kobe King, linebacker out of Penn State, tough, stout, built to plug the run inside. Not a sideline guy's not very fast, but he'll complete. But he compete for early snaps on special teams and adding depth to the inside linebacker spot. Now, here's how the draft grades shake out for me. Day 1, they get a B. Jackson fills big draft needs, but they passed on elite defensive backs. Day 2, B. Felton has upside, but ignoring defensive backs again is risky. Day 3, they get a B-. Ingram Dawkins is solid, and they squeeze value out of a late trade, but then again, no secondary help. In this defense of first league, this is a head scratcher. My final thoughts on the Minnesota Vikings. Overall, the draft felt like a strategic shuffle. Shoring up the trenches, adding speed on the offense, and making a few quiet bets on day 3. But let's be real. The lack of attention to the secondary stands out. If this unit struggles again, this draft class makes some heat. It will take a lot of heat. If Jackson and Felton deliver early, Ingram Dawkins develops, this class could quietly become a success. But as of right now, they got an overall B because they did not address the secondary that well. So let me know what you guys think. Vikings fans, was Donovan Jackson the right call in round 1? Are you worried about the defense of being ignored? Drop your takes in the chat and the comments, and I want to hear from you. Let's not forget to hit the like button and subscribe as well. Hit that bell icon so you never miss a live show from us, as we are live every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. Now let's jump into those comments. Old Man River says, it's the Packers smell like cheese. What? What are you even talking about, brother? What? But Old Man River says Vikings get a B. I think we're on the same page, man. I think the Vikings get a B. It's just, it is what it is at the end of the day. They get a B. Not very good, but not very bad at the same time. Let's get into Overreaction Tuesday. All right, guys, so Overreaction Tuesday is very, very simple. Every Tuesday, about 10 o'clock East Coast time, we travel across the old NFL landscape. We see what the people are determining, and we determine if it indeed is an overreaction or an underreaction. So let's go ahead and start off the top of the board. Let's talk about George Kittle. George Kittle is staying in the Bay, baby. That's right, guys. The all-pro tight end just signed a 4-year extension worth $76.4 million. And yes, you heard that right. He is now the highest paid tight end in NFL history when you look up at the average per year. So you know what time it is. Overreaction or underreaction, guys? Let's break it down. So guys, overreaction or underreaction, George Kittle will retire as a San Francisco 49er. Let's break it down, guys. This deal takes George Kittle through the 2029 season, which could be his 13th season in the league. He's been vocal. I want to wear red and gold my entire career. He wants to retire in the Bay. He only needs one more season to hit the 10-year club, something only 51 players have done since 1946. But the NFL careers rarely go according to the script. So what do we think, guys? Is it a lock, or are we getting a little too sentimental here? Let's think about this, guys. George Kittle deserves to be the highest paid in NFL history. Do you guys think he deserves to be the highest paid NFL tight end in history? Overreaction or underreaction? Kittle is coming off, guys, one of his best seasons ever. He had over 1,100 yards catching, 8 touchdowns, and most yards per receptions among tight ends last season. And oh, don't forget, this guy blocks like a lineman and he moves like a wide receiver. He's everything you want in a modern tight end. He is truly worth more than a year than Travis Kelce, Gronk, and even Trey McBride going forward? I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? Is it an overreaction that he's getting paid this much money? But let's go ahead and keep getting further into it. Thinking about this, you got Kittle, CMC, Debo, Trent, and Purdy all locked in, plus that killer defense. This front office quietly making moves to keep the Niners Super Bowl contention for the next 3 or 4 years. I don't know. But are we getting caught up with names instead of just playing for long-term health? So, guys, overreaction, underreaction. Should George Kittle be the highest paid tight end in the NFL, surpassing Trey McBride? So, all right, guys. So, in the chat, what do you guys think? Is it a home run deal or is it a loyalty move? Are we going to go regret this extension in 3 years from now? Drop the over or under takes in the comments below. And if you feel like you're watching live, let's light up the chat. George Kittle's locked in, and so are we. Now let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about it, guys. How old is George Kittle? So he signed a 4-year extension. He'll be the 13th year. So I am predicting 29, maybe. I don't know. Let me look it up. I'm trying to Google it. 31. So he's 31 years old compared to Travis Kelce being 35, Alpha Rob. 31 years old is still pretty young. Still probably got 2 contracts left him on. Actually, no. He's pretty injury prone, right? Real McCoy says Kittle needs to stay in San Francisco where he is appreciated. He is appreciated because he's the only guy that's been willing to stay there, right? He's the only guy that doesn't want out. I mean, let's just be honest. Old Man River says he will retire as a San Francisco 49er. I think you're right. But, Alpha Rob, what if, hear me out, what if Travis Kelce hangs on for another 2 seasons? George Kittle all of a sudden sees Patrick Mahomes needs a guy. George Kittle to KC, baby. Happening. Make it happen. Alpha Rob says he's worth the money. He has been the staple of that offense for a very, very long time. However, he is getting a little injury prone, right? He's getting a little long in the tooth, getting a little old. 31 years old is no spring chicken by any stretch of the imagination, but hey, it is what it is. Alpha Rob says he won't retire as a San Francisco 49er. He probably won't because Brock Purdy is going to price everybody out. Brock Purdy is going to price all these big names out. Bosa, Kittle, Debo Samuels, the rest of the grain. Old Member says the only healthy player in San Francisco loyalty. Even then, he always was. Did he hurt his shoulder last year? I can't remember. Was it shoulder? I can't remember. He definitely hurt something last season, but I can't remember what it is. Next up on Overreaction Tuesday, Deontay Johnson. We talked a little bit about it yesterday when we were covering the Cleveland Browns, but Deontay Johnson, the former Steelers Pro Bowl wide receiver, is heading to the NFC North yet again, this time wearing the brown and orange. It's a one-year deal, and you already know the game. Guys, it's time for overreaction or underreaction. Let's dive into it. So, guys, overreaction or underreaction, Deontay Johnson is a wide receiver 2 that Cleveland Browns desperately need. Let me set the scene for you guys. Jerry Jeudy, he's locked in as number 1 receiver. Elijah Moore, not signed yet. DeAndre Carter, most likely a return guy. Now enter Deontay Johnson. Sure, he has had a wide receiver 3 teams last season, including a suspension for refusing to play, and was literally laid twice by the same team. But this guy who once had 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns with Big Ben. So the question is, was it smart, low-risk move to fill a massive hole for the wide receiver role in Cleveland, or are we overhyping this guy on his NFL lifeline? Guys, let's just be honest. Deontay Johnson's 2023 season was a mess. He bounced from Carolina to Baltimore to Houston, was waived by all 3 teams. And his Ravens stint, 1 catch and a suspension. The Texans run barely played and got into a sideline drama during a playoff win. So here's the take. Does the locker room, like Cleveland, led by Deshaun Watson and a young core guy, being Shedeur Sanders, do they really need this kind of volatility? Or is it a savvy front office move? Like, hey, it's a 1-year flyer. Let's see what he can restructure, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But then let's zoom out, guys. Let's zoom out. You got Deshaun Watson there. Maybe Nick Chubb is returning, maybe not. but they drafted well, and they got the wide receivers. And again, they got a wide receiver trio of Judy, Johnson, and maybe Elijah Moore. I don't know. But if Deontay Johnson can even get back to 70% of his 2021 self, it could be huge. So this is a kind of low-key sign that we'll look back in December like, yo, that was the move that gave this team the edge. Or are they just stackering names with no real chemistry? So what do you guys think? NFL fans, is this the comeback arc for Deontay Johnson or just a name with no real juice left in the tank? Type over in the comments below if you're overreacting to the deal, and under if you think it was a slick move by Cleveland. Who is riding with me saying that reaction? This is a big reach and it's going to be clouded by a great Cleveland Browns draft. What do you guys think? Old Man River says it's overhyped. Overhyped, overrated, stupid ass move. But Alpha Rob says, whoa, slow it down, baby. It's a smart move for the Browns. Nothing to lose, but Johnson was one to throw him the ball. Identity, chemistry, or leadership on this team as of right now. If Deontay Johnson cannot survive in a place like Houston and Baltimore, which both of their franchises are doing the things the right way, what makes you think he's going to go to a dysfunctional dumpster fire like the Cleveland Browns and be successful? No, that's just silly. Real McCoy says Cleveland can't be taken seriously. Like, can you? Can you legitimately take them seriously? Just like at this point, like for real. But hey, those are just my opinions, guys. What are your thoughts in the comments below? Let's move on to the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's move on to the real team in the NFL. The Chiefs just picked up the fifth-year options on cornerback Trent McDuffie and the defensive end George Kalakafis. I can never say his name right. You guys know who I'm talking about. George K. from Notre Dame. And we're breaking down all what you need to know. But guys, it is time to overreact or underreact. Let's get into it. Trent McDuffie, guys, is the best cornerback in the NFL, not named Sauce Gardner. Is that an overreaction or an underreaction? I want you guys to answer this question. Guys, McDuffie isn't just showing up. He's making game-changing plays on the regular for the Kansas City Chiefs. All pro defense or cornerback 2 years in a row now. He's forced 8 fumbles and even had a few sacks sprinkled in. He's a hybrid defensive back who can play the slot, can blitz. He's a basically spag chess piece. But let's pump the brakes. Is he really just a step behind Sauce Gardner? Or is he too much praise for a guy who benefits from a loaded Kansas City Chiefs defense? Guys, overreaction or underreaction, Trent McDuffie is the best cornerback in the NFL, not named Sauce Gardner. Guys, if you look at the stats of Trent McDuffie, they're going to lie to you. The man got his first interception of his NFL career last season. Why? Because people do not throw his way. Period. They don't throw his way. They avoid him. There's a reason why the Chiefs picked up his fifth-year option. They're trying to get a long-term deal done. The man's going to get paid because he is a cornerstone of that Kansas City Chiefs defense. When the Honey Badger left, Trent McDuffie stepped up. When old what's-his-face went down to the Tennessee Titans, he stepped up yet again. When Justin Reed left for the Saints this last season, Trent McDuffie is going to step up yet again. Guys, it is not an overreaction. Trent McDuffie is the best quarterback in the NFL. I would put him over Sauce Gardner. He's a solid piece. He is the game wrecker that the Kansas City Chiefs need on that defense. But what do you guys think? Is it an overreaction or underreaction that Trent McDuffie is the best cornerback in the NFL, not named Sauce Gardner? Old Man Griver says their defense was pretty good. I think you mean their defense was great. The Kansas City Chiefs defense has been great and will be great moving forward, but Alpha Rob says slow it down. Alpha Rob says, sorry, Buck, but I cannot give no KC player credit over reaction. Alpha Rob, you need to take your bias out of it, brother. You need to take your bias out of it and understand that Trent McDuffie is a dog. Just like Real McCoy said, he's a real solid piece, brother. He is. You cannot be sleeping on this, man. But Old Man River says,
Big skin pun.
he says an overreaction. Man, y'all crazy. Y'all just haters. But let's move it on to George. George is the most underrated pass rusher in the NFL. Guys, is that an overreaction or underreaction? 24.5 sacks in 3 seasons. 8 more in the playoffs by George, and he led the Kansas City Chiefs in sacks this past year. Of course, he's not a household name. No commercials, no headlines. He just out here grinding in the shadows while players like Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett steal the spotlight. Guys, George is producing because of the scheme around him, or is it in spite of him? Guys, is George the most underrated pass rusher in the NFL? Overreaction or underreaction? Guys, this is an overreaction as well. No. Sorry. This is an underreaction. George gets overshadowed by his own teammates, a.k.a. Chris Jones. George is a beast. Guys, watch him play. There is no way in my mind that George is not a starter on every other team and stealing the spotlight from Myles Garrett, stealing the spotlight from Micah Parsons, stealing the spotlight from T.J. Watt. Next season, the year after that, for the next 5, 6, 7 seasons, he is going to become a household name. He is going to become a household name. It's simple as that. Simple as that. Old Man Ray was talking about the Cleveland defense, Sparky. The world doesn't evolve the Kansas City Chiefs. We're talking about the Chiefs right now, brother. Still talking about the Chiefs. That's a little bit of fact and crap. Let's get into a little bit of fact and a little bit of crap. Where's the one music there? That's not it. That one's it. There we go. I need to relabel this. But guys, fact or crap is very, very simple. We scour the old interwebs, out there on X, out there on Instagram, trolling what Buck does best, and we see what the people are talking about. And we determine if indeed it is a fact or if it's a crap. Guys, it's a live interactive show, guys. Down in the comment below, determine if it is indeed a fact or a crap. But let's go ahead and start off. Now, guys, we all know that the NFL is no stranger to controversy. And this one definitely doesn't disappoint. So here's the situation. President Donald Trump has officially thrown his support behind one of the most polarizing plays in the NFL, the tush push. Yes, you heard that right, guys. The tush push. The short yard wanting to ban it, others defending it is a brilliant football strategy. But here is where it gets interesting. Trump, who hosted the Philadelphia Eagles at the White House for the Super Bowl win, was asked about the tush push, and much to the surprise of some, he publicly endorsed it. In fact, he said, "I like it. It's sort of exciting and different." Now, as you can imagine, this caught a lot of attention. Exciting and different? Kind of a fair description, right? I mean, it's not exactly the most traditional play we see in football, but it's effective, right? The Philadelphia Eagles guys scored 27 points and recorded 92 first downs from it just last season, or from the last 3 years alone. It's a pretty insane stat. Now, the NFL has already tabled the proposal to ban the tush push, but the owners are expected to revisit the issue in May. So Trump endorsement comes at a critical time. Could it actually influence and decide to keep the play in the game, or will the NFL still lean to banning it? So before we dive into it, guys, let's reflect on some of the situations. Since Saquon Barkley involvement, it wasn't just Trump supporting the Eagles on this one. Running back Saquon Barkley was at the White House event as well, playing golf with Trump and even flying on Air Force One with him. So yeah, you heard that correctly. So Barkley took some heat on social media for this, but he definitely defended it by saying, "I respect the office, not the person in it." He probably just trying to stay out of the politics, but I get it. It's a tricky situation. Now, with that being said, so now the biggest question, could Trump's public endorsement of the tush push actually save it from being banned in the NFL owners meeting in May? Is this a situation where Trump's words are blimp in the Raiders' decision-making process, or could his support be the tipping point that keeps the push alive? Fact or crap, guys? Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because this one's debate is heating up. It's getting a lot of interesting, and it could get even more interesting once it works. If it actually does work, the Eagles are going to be laughing all the way to another playoff run, push the defense around, sneakily with a successful another NFL Super Bowl. But guys, I think it's crap. I think it's crap. I don't think President Trump matters one way or the other. But hey, that's just my opinion here. Now, moving on to fifth-year options. We got a huge question to tackle today, and that's all about the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns have decided not to exercise quarterback Kenny Pickett's fifth-year option. Now, we've seen a lot of debate surrounding this decision, but we want to dive into whether it's the right call or not. So let me set the scene for you. Let's set the story and let's get everything right. The Browns, who acquired Kenny Pickett in a trade from the Philadelphia Eagles this offseason, have decided not to pick up the fifth-year option for Kenny Pickett. So does that mean the Browns have already been moving on from Kenny Pickett, or is there more to the story? So before we get into it, let's give you guys a quick recap, right? Kenny Pickett was originally drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2022, but after just 2 short seasons, he was traded to the Eagles last offseason. Then the Browns swooped in and got him in exchange for a 5th-round pick in 2025 and Dorian Thompson-Robinson, a.k.a. DTR. Now, Pickett hasn't exactly lit up the league in his first 2 seasons. He has a 14-10 record as a starter, but he spent most of last season backing up Jalen Hurts on the Super Bowl-winning Philadelphia Eagles team. However, he did win his sole start in Week 17 in 2024, so there's still potential, but the question is he worth committing to a long term? The Browns quarterback room looks pretty crowded right now. Let's just be honest, with Pickett joining veterans like Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel, Jair Sanders, and let's not forget Deshaun Watson, who's expecting to miss a significant chunk of 2005 due to his killing injury. So basically, Kenny Pickett could pick up his shots sooner than later. But here's the big question. Here's the $1 million question for you. What do you want to know? What do you think? Fact or crap? The Browns should exercise Kenny Pickett's 5th-year option. Guys, I've been leaning back and forth. If I were to say fact, if the Browns were to exercise his option, they secure Kenny Pickett through the 2026 NFL season, giving him more time to develop and proving that he believed his potential as their future starter. With the Watson injury, Kenny Pickett could be a key player in 2025, giving him more time to prove that he could pay off in the long term. However, on the crap side of things, Pickett's performance so far doesn't exactly scream future franchise quarterback. With the crowded quarterback room and some major competition from Flacco, Gabriel, and Sanders, why lock him in for another year without seeing more from him? If he doesn't perform, it could hurt the team's flexibility moving forward. So, guys, I am going to go with crap. I think the Cleveland Browns are messing up by not just at least exercising that option. Now, you can always cut him, trade him, whatever, but definitely exercise that option. So what do you guys think? Is it a fact that the Browns should exercise his option to give him more time to prove himself? Or is it crap that the Browns should move on without making long-term commitment? Drop your comments down below. Let's get this conversation going. All right, guys, let's see what you guys are saying. Real McCoy says facts. Old Man River says fact as well. But Real McCoy says nothing the Browns do should surprise anyone. It's where players go to die. Not wrong. Not wrong. Not wrong. Old Man River says they would be down to 4 quarterbacks with 2 rookies. It's Cleveland. It's a fact. Hey, on the bright side, 2026, Gabriel and Sanders will be second-year players, not rookies, but hey. Mendel Harvey's in the chat. What's up, Mendel? He says, absolutely not. He's had 3 years. His max is mid. Ooh, Mendel with the facts. Slow it down, baby. Alpha Rob is saying fact. Mendel says cost too high. Cut him in training camp. But Alpha Rob says, hey, they're actually doing Kenny a favor by cutting him. Not wrong. Not wrong, Alpha Rob. Everybody wants a free way out of Cleveland. Let's just be honest. But Old Man River is saying crap as well. Crap as well. All right, guys. You guys are kind of all over the board on that one. But what do you guys think? Fact or crap? Should the Browns exercise a 5th-year option on Kenny Pickett? Now, the final fact or crap of the day is where we take a deep dive into the hottest NFL topics across the NFL, and you can decide, guys, if it's a fact or if indeed is a crap. But this one, I got a juicy one. The final one is juicy. Today, we're going to talk about Jair Alexander, the Packers star cornerback, and his future in Green Bay. Now, if you've been following the Packers this offseason, you know it's been a lot of uncertainty surrounding Alexander. What was one of the considered a certain backup between the two sides now seems to have potential for reconciliation. So here's the question for you guys. Fact or crap? Should the Packers keep Jair Alexander for the 2025 NFL season? Let's break it down. First off, guys, Alexander is a talented player. He's a 2-time All-Pro cornerback, but the past 2 seasons have been anything but smooth. Injuries and suspensions have sidelined him for a chunk of the last 2 seasons. In 2024, he played just 7 games dealing with that torn PCL. But here's the thing. He still finished second on the team in pass breakups and tied for second in interceptions. Even with those injuries, he's still shown he can make plays when healthy. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, baby. Alexander and the Packers have both voiced their frustration over the recent years, and the Packers, despite having just drafted a quarterback in the 7th round this year, are still unsure what they want to do with Jair. Packers GM Brian, even said, "We'll work through that as we go on," when asked about Jair Alexander's future after the draft. No promises, no guarantees. And here's where it gets interesting, guys. Jair Alexander still has 2 years left on his massive 4-year, $84 million contract, which made him the highest paid cornerback in the NFL at the time. If the Packers decide to release him, they could save almost $7 million on their salary cap. Or if they choose to cut him post June 1, they could free up $17 million. That's a big chunk of change. So keep him till June 1st, right? But here's the thing. If they keep him, Jair Alexander could return to form, and they could be a key contributor on the defense. And he's still only 26 years old. Plenty of time to get him back to the level we know he is capable of. But with all that cap space, should they take the risk? Could the Packers move on from him, or should they keep him around and hope he finds magic again? But guys, it's up to you in the comments below. It is up to you, Alpha Rob, Old Man River, Real McCoy, Factor Crap. Should the Green Bay Packers keep Jair Alexander in 2025? Is he worth the gamble, or should the Green Bay Packers cut their losses and save cap space? Drop your comments below and let's get this debate rolling. Guys, the Green Bay Packers should not cut Jair Alexander. He is very valuable piece. If you want to do anything, trade the man. Trade him to the Kansas City Chiefs. Trade him to the Chicago Bears. Trade him anywhere. Like, he is going to get you a second, if not a first-round draft pick. He's 26. He is great when he is on the field. The Packers need him, but I'm saying fact. They should cut him, /trade him, /release him. Get that fat, get it out of here. Old Man River is saying fact. It is a fact. Fact, fact, fact. Alpha Rob saying fact as well. You guys are all saying fact. All saying fact, and I like it. But tonight, guys, I want to talk about something that often gets lost in the excitement of the game. It's easy to look at these incredible athletes on the field, making jaw-dropping plays, signing multi-million-dollar contracts, and assuming it was always easy for them. But the truth, it could be further from that. No matter who you are, where you come from, or how you started, every NFL player has had to fight. Really fight for a chance to make it to the top. When we watch Sunday night game, when we watch the Sunday afternoon game, when we watch Monday night football games, we see the touchdowns, we see the tackles, we see the wins. But what we don't see, the part that we often overlook, is a struggle. We don't see the hours of grueling practices, the sacrifices made, or the obstacles that every player had to overcome just to get a shot at the NFL, guys. It's not just about talent, folks. It's about heart. It's about determination. It's about fighting through the odds no matter how big they are. Whether you're a player that grew up with the wealthiest neighborhood or a rough part of town, the grind is the same. The adversity is the same. The hunger to succeed doesn't care about your background. I wanted to say it loud and clear. Your story doesn't define your destiny. Some of the greatest players in the NFL came from humble beginnings. Families who didn't have much, and they had drive. They had a dream, and they poured everything into it. But it wasn't always easy. Many had to overcome just the physical challenges, but emotional ones too. Many grew up with nothing but a football and a dream. But that dream didn't come with promise. It came with years of working with the heat, facing the hardest critics and doubting themselves, and still getting back every time when they got knocked down. It's not about the overcoming poverty. It's not about overcoming pain. It's about dealing with injuries, setback, and moments where everything seems to be falling apart, and yet they keep pushing forward. These players were told they weren't big enough, fast enough, strong enough. They were told no again and again and again, and they kept fighting back, showing the world that they were more than what the world expected them to be. Because here's the thing, guys, the NFL isn't just a league for the strongest or the most talented. It's a league for those who don't quit. Those who face adversity head on and refuse to let anything stand in their way. It's about resilience. It's about the grit. It's about doing whatever it takes no matter where you start to reach to the top. So the next time you watch a game, guys, and you see a player making big plays, remember that it just didn't happen. It took years of struggles, years of sacrifice, and a lot of heart. It didn't matter where they came from, a mansion or a one-room apartment. They all had the same battle to prove they belong, and that, my friends, is something that we should never forget. So here's to the players who made it, to the ones who fight every day. Here are the inspirations, not the one to come to the game you play, but for the fight that you carry. And to everyone out there with a dream, no matter how big or small, remember, it's not where you start, it's how hard you are willing to fight to make the difference. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. It's been a great show. And remember, always respect the journey because it is where true humble beginnings begin. We out.
Hey, now it's time to take off. Gotta keep it live and raw. Better stay tuned in. Man, our NFL talk. I know that you're ready for more. They on the field, ready for war. Who's in the lead? I'm checking the score. We about to do it like never before. NFL live, uncut, raw. This is Man Hour NFL Talk. Let's go.